today I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about the idea of creating a healthy lifestyle and what steps do you have to go through to start that process. So we've spent a lot of our time here at my facilities really diving into that idea in the sense of not making it just about the workouts or just about the nutrition, but how do those all play together and really kind of culminate in that lifestyle of health. Right? So the creating a lifestyle of health, starting with why, is the presentation we put together. This all stemmed from a book I read recently by the name of Simon Sinek. It was a great book called Start With Why. Now he approaches it from a business standpoint and how businesses that really start out promoting what they do as opposed to why they do it aren't ultimately as successful. The same can be true for people who start into their fitness journey. And if all they're focused on is what they need to do, then they miss the whole why and how they get there, they can be less successful. So his whole thing is the golden circle, all right, which he talks about the why being here in the center, and then the how being the next ring, and then the what. And so his whole premise is that if you start with your why and you work your way out, that'll help you get to the how and then ultimately the what. Now when most people come up to me, and recently I did a few booths at some local events, and the first thing people asked when they walked up to their booth is, oh, Rugged Fitness, what do you guys do? And that's kind of, I think, where most people really compare things, is on the what level. But getting you to dig down a little deeper into the why is going to be very helpful. And we're going to talk about the why of our business. But what we want to talk about really specifically today is how do you guys find the why for the things that you want to achieve? Because unfortunately, most people start with those whats and they work their way out. So let me talk a little bit about why that's ultimately not as successful. A lot of people, they start their journey chasing the whats, all right? Now, the whats can be things like, I want to lose 40 pounds, I want to run a 5K, I want to get toned stronger. Pretty much most of the superficial goals that people start with are the whats. They're the what do they immediately want to achieve. And in our society, now we've got that kind of instant gratification where if we don't see exactly what we want from something in a short amount of time, we tend to lose interest, right? And a lot of that stems from the fact that we really haven't internalized why these things are important to us yet. So we constantly chase the whats, and then this thing looks appealing, so let's chase after that for a while. Now some people, they chase the hows, so they go a little extra level. Things like, I heard that blank was the best diet program, and you can fill the blank in with South Beach or Atkins or Zone or Eat for Life, and there's a million of them out there, and people chase them all the time with no real understanding of why these work for some people and not for others, and why is it specifically something that's going to work for me. So without taking the time to think about that and just kind of rushing into trying things, it can be really frustrating. Same thing with exercise, right? I think the best way to exercise is blank. And again, fill in the blanks. High intensity interval training, CrossFit, powerlifting, cardio on a treadmill, you know what I mean? You're going to talk to a bunch of different people, you're going to get a bunch of different answers on how works the best. And maybe it works the best for them, but doesn't really work the best for you. And again, to answer that question, we got to go deeper into the center of that circle. Right? So, without doing that, people tend to have a lot of trouble. And so, if we were to say, all right, what does someone's actual goals sound like when they're saying stuff, right? Have you ever heard anybody say, I want to drop 40 pounds, 5 dress sizes, and then put them all back on in 3 months? Right, from when I am? No. But people are continually doing that, right? How many times have you started a weight loss program or a new exercise program? You got some great results and then you fell off the wagon and you put it all back on, right? You don't go into it with those intentions, but if you're not really connected to why you're doing these things, that's ultimately the results. And how about this one? I'm going to sign a year contract with a gym and then stop going after 3 weeks because I like throwing money away. I've never heard someone say that, but they're doing that. Right? That's the things that they're doing. I plan on trying 5 different diets this year, and I'm not going to follow through on any of them because I like to continue to be frustrated. Again, it's not the intention going in, but it's the result. It's what people ultimately end up doing. Right? So if we can try to flip that script and get you to think a little bit more deeply about why these things are important to you and what you want to achieve, then we can start to track that process better. And now here, when we talk about making change, right, The standard behavioral change model, right, starts with pre-contemplation. That's the phase in which, well, you're not even really thinking about making a change. You haven't even, it's not even on your radar yet. You're very happily, drinking 12 beers a day on the weekend, and you don't even consider that a problem right now, right? But at the same time, your what's are still, I want to lose some weight, right? So then at some point, things click in your head, and you go, you know what, I really think I need to make a change. Now you're moving into the contemplation stage. You're starting to realize that some of the stuff that you're doing is probably not yielding the results that you want, and maybe I should probably look into changing that. Right? So now you're starting to think about that process, but you really haven't really made a decision yet. You're kind of in those early stages of like, what's out there? You'll start exploring things. Now, in the preparation phase, you're going to start to say, okay, how do I feel about X, Y, and Z? And you're going to start comparing different programs and things. And you're still all in your head now. You haven't actually made any action yet. It's still in your head. You're contemplating. You're then preparing. And then not until the fourth stage of this change model are you actually putting any action in, right? So all this stuff, right, these first three are all going on, or should be going on in your head before you start that action. Now, to make a good behavioral change and to really make a difference in your life, all those things should come first, right? The people that go straight from pre-contemplation to like, oh, I'm starting right now. I'm going to jump into this program, or I'm going to jump into that exercise regime because it worked for somebody else. They're skipping all this other stuff. They're skipping that mental work that needs to be done to get you set up for the right thing. And then they're kind of setting themselves up for failure right from the start. Because if you skip these earlier stages, by the time you get to action, right, that thing's either going to happen to work out for you for a little while, but maybe not sustainable, and at some point, people fall back down the rung, all right, and their progress relapses. Okay, so again, we want to try to prepare a little bit better so that we don't run into those problems, right? So before we start any kind of program, you really need to find out why you're starting that program, right? And the why is going to be the driving force that helps make those goal-directed decisions. So if you find the people that have the most success have something they really feel passionately about that they want to achieve, right? Or something that's really important that sets their priority levels higher on all these actions that they're about to take. And it's going to line them up to make the right decisions to get to where they need to be, right? That's really, really important part of the process. The why is also going to determine the hows and the whats of what's going to get you to your goal. So if you don't know why it is that you want to achieve something, then it's really hard to nail down how you're going to go about achieving it, right? And if you can't figure out how you're going to achieve it, then what you do on a day-to-day basis really is going to have no bearing on your ultimate achieving of that goal. So what we want to do is we want to flip that script around, really start to hammer in what's important, right? How does this healthy lifestyle really going to change your life? Or why is it really going to change your life? Then we're going to figure out how do we make it fit and make it work so that we can accomplish that why. And then the what's just come from there, right? You can trace it back. So, also this why should really reflect your beliefs, right? If you don't believe in something, right, and really in a core belief, you're really not going to follow through with it, right? You're not going to put the effort, you're not going to put the energy in, because at some point it really doesn't line up with your beliefs. You maybe believe that somebody else had success in it, but you don't really believe that you're going to have success in it, but you're going to try it anyway. That's probably not a good program for you to try, right? You want to find something that you really connect with and say, wow, like I can really get behind that belief system or that theory because it's really lines up with my internal why. And then most importantly is finding a trainer or a facility that aligns with that why, right? So if your why is because you want to work as hard as you can all the time, right? Regardless of whether or not the exercises you're doing are appropriate or not, you just love to go in and you love to hammer it, well then that's really going to determine how you go about exercise and what things you do, right? Whereas if you're going into it saying like, I want to get to my goals, but I need to do it progressively, I need to do it safely, I need to do it in a way that's going to fit into my lifestyle, well that's also going to change how you go about things and then ultimately what you're going to end up choosing and doing. So you really have to set your priorities and figure out why it is that you want to embark on this fitness journey before you can find the right thing that's going to align with that. Because everything to really line up, those are the people that really have great success. Right? So At our place, and really our facility, what we're trying to promote is the fact that our why is a healthy lifestyle is the foundation for a happy and productive life. So that's our core belief, right? We believe that if people are healthy, they move better, they feel better, that they're going to have a more happy and productive life, right? That dictates all the programming, everything that we do in our facilities, all of our coaches all believe this as a core belief. That's why we do what we do, all right? Now, how we go about doing that, right, is as members come in, we work with everyone, whether they're group or personal training on an individual basis, because we want to empower them to achieve their goals. Then we address each person's individual needs through doing some screening and assessment, to talking about goals, to going over nutrition. All those things are all what we do, but how we get people to the results is by addressing everybody individually. And then we work really hard to create the most comprehensive results-based training programs based on what they're looking to achieve. But the first thing we always do with people is we ask them why. Why is getting in shape important? Why is dropping those pounds important, right? Because if we don't connect on that emotional level with these goals, it's going to be really hard for you to stick with them as things get tougher, right? So then obviously what we do, way down here at the bottom, that's almost of least importance, right? What we do personal training, we do group coaching, we have our Your Path and our strategy sessions and our nutritional and motivational workshops. So what we do is not dissimilar to other places in the area that are doing the same things, right? But why we do it and how we do it is really what we try to set ourselves apart with, right? And what we want as people coming in, we want people that buy into this, right? If they don't believe this on a core level, then they're probably not going to mesh well with our programs, right? And they're not going to appreciate the things that our coaches are going to do with them, right? Because that's not what they're there for, that's not their belief system, right? So, for the people that do believe that and that do want that, we've put together a program to help you find your why, right? So if you've struggled, if you've gone to a bunch of different things, if you're one of those people that have chased the what's and the hows before and haven't had the success that you wanted, coming in and meeting with one of our coaches to talk about why could be a really big step to starting that process. Right, so our Wellness Vision worksheet, all these tools are online as well, so all of our members that come in are going to start with an initial strategy session with a coach. We're going to talk about your goals, we're going to do a functional movement screen, so that way we know how to train you properly and what exercises are going to be appropriate for you, because we know why, right, through those screens. In addition to all those things, all of our members have access online to this Your Path program, which is something I created based on my background in wellness coaching. And we put together a Wellness Vision worksheet, and online we have a video that goes along with that, so you can do it at home, or you can meet with a coach and do an appointment where we can actually sit down with you and go through this whole worksheet, all right? But at the end of the worksheet, you should know exactly why, you should know where your gaps are, where are the most important places for you to start making change, and also have some 3-month goals and some weekly goals set up and ready to go, right? So you have an action plan that we can trace all the way back to the why, okay? In addition to that, we have weekly tracking sheets that allow you to have your goals written down, and writing things down is hugely important because we're so visual, right? And this is one of the things in Simon Sinek's presentations, if you go on YouTube, he talks about how visual we are. Having something to check off, right? That makes a big difference when we go into this process. Then we have a healthy lifestyle workbook, which goes through a bunch of stuff on nutrition and motivation and exercise, and really helps you kind of develop the hows and the whats based off of your why. Right? So all of that stuff is provided to all of our members, and we have a whole process that gets you in and gets you started. So if this is something that you've been struggling with or that really appeals to you, right, and you feel like you connect with the why that we're trying to accomplish here, we'd love to have you come in and give us a shot. All right, thanks for listening. Again, this is Brian Ayers, Rugged Fitness here. We have locations in Wethersfield and in Cheshire here in central Connecticut. And I look forward to talking with you all again on the next video.